Noah's Ark 2x2 formation. Road change now, we go racing for the first time this season. 3 hours of GT action, it's go.
This is very tight as they come down. Group of cars coming in, this has all got trouble written all over it. This is G3 cars.
Drop downhill, they head towards the Aqua Minerale. Imola, of course. There's another one off through the gravel. As wide as possible as they drop downhill, putting that truck inside line. Yes, he did. Through he goes.
Good evening and welcome to Race 7, the final round of Tier 1 AOR's GT3, the Fast Boys as we like to call them. I'm RageF1 and I'm joined as always by my co-commentator Jamie Ellis, Mr. TwinBarrelJay. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Good to be back for the final round, man.
Round of the season.
I know.
See what surprises they have for us going to the off-season break.
I know. I'm sure there'll be surprises aplenty. Obviously, we all know that the championship is somewhat summed up. Mr. Whitehead taking the championship last time around in style. So that was good to see. However, we do have a very hot race on for second place in the championship. So Luke, now untouchable with 541 points. He is a two-time champion, season 12 champion. He stole that from the number 2 man, which is Tinker van der Velde, who's currently in second place with 426 points. Grantis Caracas in third place with 406 points is the only person that could possibly take the second place away from him.
I think he might.
You think he might? Okay, and then we got Jardier. We come back to that. Jardier's in fourth.
Tinko's not here.
Oh, is he not? Oh no.
Before we go too deep in that rabbit hole.
Oh dear.
As we start qualifying, unfortunately, he doesn't seem to be here. So.
Oh no. Okay, well that is a shame. Never mind. But we'll get into this session, I think, rather than us blabbering on about stuff, because it has actually gone live. You're quite right. So let's get rid of this, and we'll jump into a little bit of this. So we're on board with Nauman. I'll change that up for you in a second. We'll go on board with one of the front runners. And well, there we go. Second place is probably somewhat sorted. Hey, it might not be. Grantis Caracas has 406 points. I think... No, he's going to be second. Unless Grantis doesn't get 20 points, then, you know, where is Caracas? Oh, he's definitely here. And he's probably going to get 20 points.
He probably is.
Probably is.
We're at a mid-level of participation as well, so
okay.
I would suggest he just needs to finish. But, I mean, third place we could potentially have some changes for.
Okay.
That's a lot closer. But, you know, it's the racing we're here for.
So third place is technically now up for debate with Tinko and Jardier. Is he here today?
He is. Well, I mean, Jardier, Tadas, Leon Burkert, Fisher, Valentin Barrier, they're all within sort of 20 points of each other.
Okay.
So, yeah, if we want to keep track of something, or we can just enjoy the racing and see who goes well around this Nürburgring circuit.
We could, yes.
I can't remember us doing this for a while. You probably remember better than me.
Oh, blimey, a little while ago.
Or I've probably seen the track more than me. I'm not sure I've experienced it during my time in the comms booth, so interesting to see how they get on around here.
Yeah, I'm just going back through the seasons, and we haven't had it. I think season 9, season 8, possibly we had this track. It's been a while. Definitely not in your tenure. So yeah, it's a new one on the list, at least for the past year or so. So yeah, hopefully it throws up a few interesting anecdotes. You never know. It's got some funny corner names, this one, so we'll go through those in a minute. No one's got a time in yet. We're on board with Nauman, just because we are. Grantis Caracas, where's he? Let's have a look. Is Luke with us today, or has he decided not to turn up?
He is. He's in the pit, so I'm wondering if he might be giving himself a challenge.
I hope he is.
That would definitely keep it interesting.
Yes.
Would be a novel thing to see our champion-elect charge through the field. The panel beaters haven't been to much use for him this year.
So from the back he's laid a few off.
Yeah, we might want to keep him around if he's planning on starting from the back of the grid, but we'll wait and see if he does find his way out into qualifying. But yes, Grantis is on track and definitely a contender for front end of the grid and the podium again. It's a very impressive season alongside the Whiteheads. Just Luke's been slightly more consistent. But he's definitely had paces to challenge at times.
I'm seeing if Mr. Whitehead is live at this current stage. So to see if we can maybe ask him the question. You know, are we doing that fun first to last wherever? But I don't know if he is. Have to find out. We'll have to see. We'll give you some information. Maybe we could get a word to him, see if that's what he plans to do. We have got some times though, Jay. Mikowski, Bobroditsky just displaces him. Nauman in third, Fisher fourth, Foch in fifth, and then Tadas takes the lead. Caracas, whereabouts is he going to put himself? Probably first. He's just about to come across the line. No? Question mark? Maybe he's on a fast one. He's doing... Oh, no. This is the opening lap for him. Okay. I'll shut up, and we'll stay on board with him as he tries to open up this lap, Jay. Jardier goes first. No, he doesn't.
He's just behind Tadas, 4 attempts. The opening lap's coming in. We'd expect to see the times tumble a little bit more. We've already got a disqualification for a Honda in 24th place. I'm not sure how that's happened, or whether that was pre-planned. I don't know. But yeah, all looking pretty tied together so far for Grantis as he comes through the flowing left-hander. Don't want to take too much speed through here because you're immediately going to flip the car back right. Have to get the braking done in literally a couple of meters. Throws it over the curb on the right, runs it out to the left-hand side. Looking good so far. Comes down to the long, sweeping right-hander. Goes very narrow on the entry. Get on the power as quickly as he dares. He now comes up to the Schumacher S's. They're the only corners I know. Also, there's a big banner there that helps. Pretty much full throttle, slight lift. As he now flies down to the left-hander. Don't want to take too much exit curb because, again, you've got the right-hander to consider. Gets himself well over his left-hand side of the track. Really nice exits. Very little runoff here at Nürburgring, so it does punish you if you go wide, especially on that one in the race. You don't want to be clipping some grass because you'll be suffering all the way down the straight. Now just 3 corners to go. Don't muck up the incredibly challenging chicane. Takes plenty of curb on the throttle really early. What kind of lines are you going to take through the final corner? Goes really narrow to get on the power as quickly as possible. Down to the line. Is it going to be good enough for provisional pole position? At the moment, it is with a 1:53.1. Jardier slots in second place, just 0.08 of a second behind.
Fantastic, thanks, Jay. Can confirm Luke is doing a last first, so that should be fun to watch. I said hello on his stream, so there you go. He's sat there with his little knees up on his camera, watching Caracas putting in some laps. So yeah, there you go. Can confirm. Strangely enough, we've got a change at the lead, Jay, and it's Sebastian Apostle. Top form, the WCR guys at the moment. There you go, BMW taking away the lead. You can see, actually, Gert Fischer is actually contending too. He's in 5th place. He's got a good lap in as well. Where's the other BMW? He's got Luke Southall, Mikowski. They did open up quite well as well. 5/10 and 6/10 off pace each. So yeah, looks like a German all round with a little splattering of Japanese in the middle. Again, I won't make the the same joke, but you all know what I'm thinking about.
We all know what you're thinking. There's no need to go there.
There's no need.
Yeah, those pesky BMWs that spiced up the race so well last time out, once again proving pretty competitive. And yeah, Sebastian Apostle was very good in the practice session and finds his way to the top of the times again already. But again, just look at those times. It's a 10th between first and fourth, 2 between first and fifth. It's going to be fine margins to get themselves on the first couple of rows.
We're watching Fisher put it into the pits, unfortunately. Jay, I have to apologise. I have got AIDS of the face again, so yeah, I will try my very best to not sound as nasally as possible.
It's a flip of a coin with you.
Oh, it is, 100%. At this point, I'm just putting it down to allergies, because that's pretty much all it is, you know. Unfortunately,
general allergies.
General allergies, you know. Unfortunately, when you have children, you are part of the sane organism as well, you know. If they have a sickness bug, so do you in a day or two's time.
I mean, that does happen generally with most humans, but yeah. No,
it's all sharing.
They tend to get it a bit easier.
Oh, yeah. It's all sharing.
Grant Caracas splits them at the top then, so he goes into P2, just half a tenth behind Sebastian Apostle, who did actually improve by a tenth and a half on his final run. I think he's returned to the pit, so we can get everybody strapping on some new boots, refueling, and going out for their final runs. But yeah, pretty close at the top at the moment.
It is. We're watching Jarier open up his lap. Good form this season, would you say, in comparison to last, Jay? Obviously, last time out, he finished, let's see...
we had the Ferrari of death last year.
He did have the Ferrari of death last year. He finished 6th place, so he's already improved.
Yeah, a lot of people complained about how difficult that Ferrari was to drive and it doing weird things with the suspension over the curbs, so I think he's looked a lot more at home in the Honda. Shame he had to miss that round as well, because he was definitely up there contending. Maybe not championship-wise, but he would have been a good 60-70 points, you feel, ahead of where he is, which would have put him a bit closer to that top 3. But yeah, definitely improved in that Honda.
Massively, yeah. And like you say, yeah, massive shame that he wasn't here for the whole time. He is on an outlap, Jay, I must say. I know we're watching him, but he is on an outlap. He will be opening up the taps for a speedy one in a second. So, look, let's not get too excited about today, because obviously it's only a 2nd or 3rd place kind of round today. However, normally we leave it to the end, but I feel like we have to talk about it a little bit today. We do have another race tomorrow, guys. So, and the standings are mighty close. So I think we've got 3, 4, 5 people up for contention and possible to take the win. 4 people actually could possibly win, maybe even 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, guys, if you want to see some championship fighting, then join us tomorrow at 7:30. Not too sure who's going to be behind the mic at that time. It might actually be yours truly, if it ends up the way it ends up, because unfortunately John Watt's computer has decided to run away with the fairies and join all of the other computers in the sky. So he might not be hosting that tomorrow. It might actually be me. So you never know, Jay. Fancy doing a championship decider tomorrow around the same track? Question mark.
Yeah, going in with knowing none of the competitors, the runners and riders. Why not? It sounds
why
like
not?
Street shit out.
Nothing like that ever goes wrong, does it? We'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll work it out if we need to.
Fine.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Well, Jarier is out at the moment. He is on a lap. Is it a fast one, Jay? I'm not too sure. He's on the bubble, no improvements. Tadas behind him is improving by a 10th. Mats Linn-Andersen, haven't said that name up inside the top 10 for a while. He's improved as well. He's got a 10th in hand. So's Angel Instroza. He's had a bit of a torrid season this season. Not really anywhere up inside the top 5, to be honest. So he's only gone backwards a little bit. But never mind, hopefully he'll come back a little bit. Where's Mikhail Statsenko gone? He was around for a little bit, wasn't he? Was he here today? Don't think he is.
No, he's not. He joined us for the first couple of rounds and showed pretty good pace, actually. But, yeah, unfortunately, he's missed the majority of it.
He's actually lost time.
Very funny.
What's that?
I was watching Luke Whitehead, wondering what he was doing.
Yes.
And he backed off like twice in the final quarter and over the line, and he still improved to 21st place.
Oh, God, okay.
So, one thing I'd say is he's got pace, and B, the strategy of him backing off didn't really work there. So I think he just wants some track time, but as is the inherent pace in that man this season, even him trying not to qualify has qualified 3 positions higher than the back.
Oh my goodness, Tadas Japanicus has done exactly the same time as Sebastian Apostel. They've both done a 1:53.075. So that puts them equal, 1 and 2. Obviously, Sebastian is higher, just then dethroned by Grantis Caracas, who has done a 1:53.3. So 0.03. So a couple of hundredths faster. So it's pretty nip and tuck at the top there, Jake. Not much between
Absolutely.
them. There's a
Sebastian
tenth
will
all
be,
the way down.
Happy that he got that time in first to put him above him, but
Yeah,
it's definitely a really close competition for that pole position between those three and Jardier. You never know, 2 temps he could find in the remaining 2 minutes, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You'd say with 400ths of a second between the top 3 that any of them can still take pole position comfortably. So we'll see what they do on this next run around and who else can get themselves into the top 10 for the final grid of season 12.
Well, this man could. He's 2 tenths up at the moment. Currently searching for that P3. Could possibly threaten for a P2. You never know. I don't think he will. But he could possibly. Is it mathematically possible for Jardier for P2?
He's done it again, Luke.
Oh, no. He's gone higher.
He backs off massively over the line and still improved 2 temps.
Oh, dear. Here comes Jardier.
Jardier
3 tenths in hand, Jay. Sorry to interrupt you. Coming across the line. He does go first. We have a new pole sitter currently with 1 minute and 10 to go.
Yep, big improvement.
Yeah.
3 temps per second puts him a 10th clear of Grantis Caracas. Yeah, he's got an opportunity for P4. I think Caracas is out of reach points-wise. But yeah, he could shore up the P4 he's in. Good. Sebastian Possible now improves in that BMW to go 100th of a second clear of Jardier's time. So he puts himself back to the front of the field. That BMW, aptly numbered number 1 for this race, is definitely showing the pace late on. Still opportunities for them to improve though. One more run for everybody.
They are 25 seconds on the clock. We're watching probably one of the first guys to come across the line. It's Jardier. He's still on a lap at the moment. He's kind of riding around on that bubble, so we won't see an improvement really until he comes across the line. It's less than a 10th at the moment, but I mean, look at the difference in lap time between the top 4 anyway. It's about a 10th, so anything can happen. Tadas just thrown in the towel, no more from him. Angel Destroz has done the same. Naumann also not doing any more. Luke Whitehead is 21st, so it's not quite a last to first, but you never know, he might hold off at the beginning. He's not doing any more, neither is Bondsfield. So the pace is there for the champion, so we'll have to see what he does in the race. Definitely there.
You went on board with him, the amount he lifted off over the line.
Oh God, okay.
About 100 metres before, and he's still 9 tenths per second away. But yeah, they're coming around for that final run. So it'll be Gert Fischer that crosses first, ahead of Remy Papin and Jardier as they come around the final corner. See what improvements, if any.
Jardier's going to do it, Jake. Jardier's going to get the pole. He does. By 6 hundredths, sorry. Not sure if anyone can improve on that.
Sebastian Postel's just coming through the chicane. Took a huge amount of curb. He's not backed off, so I presume he's got a chance of improving. He doesn't need much. Can he snatch it away on the final run down to the line?
No, Jay.
He can't do it. It's going to be, unless Grantis is out there.
Grantis is.
Pole position
10th
for
in
Jardier.
hand.
Could he snatch it at the last minute? Over the line, he does 6 hundredths of a second. And it's going to be that Veloce Porsche of Grantis Caracas that will be on pole position. What a qualifying session between those three.
I know,
Just
right?
kept finding little margins, little bits of time.
Luke Southall coming across the line. No improvement from him, unfortunately. The battle for 3rd and 4th then heating up because Leon Berndt is in that battle, part of the Ranwelton Esports boys. He is about to cross the line. Any improvements from him? I don't think he is. No, he is our last runner. He will start in 9th place. So there you go. There's your top 10. And it consists of pretty much the usual suspects. But hey ho. It doesn't have the usual subjects. We've got Greek, we've got geography, we've got Spanish, all up there.
What was the second? Did you just say geography as the second one?
Yeah, we got all the subjects,
got all this stuff. It's Greek. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Ah,
But-
yes, see, I have now.
I thought you were just having a brain fart in terms of naming countries.
No.
We got Greece, we got geography,
We got Greece, we have
we got
geography.
dogs. Just random words. No,
right.
I mean,
Yes, go on.
yeah, it might not be for a championship. It's still a win in AOR, and that's a very competitive top end of the grid. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they go and see if the BMWs can continue the strong race pace that they showed last time out.
I think so.
They arguably qualified a little bit further forward this time, and yeah, they were really strong in the race last time.
Who have we got BMW wise inside the top 5? We've got Sebastian Apostle and Luke Southall. Gert Fischer is P7, and then Mikowski didn't get the car kind of tuned up there, unfortunately. Walsingham, look, coming off the back of a really good performance, he's down in 14th place. Well, Jake, let's go through the list of where we are. I will try for one final time of the season to get through without any
A little
problems.
bit less today, so maybe.
There's only a slight splattering of cars today, so we'll see. So front row is Grantas Caracas. Grantas taking the pole. Jardier will be joining him. Then we've got Sebastian Apostle and Tadeusz Jovanickas on the second row. Luke Southall and Mats Lynn Anderson, good qualifying from him. They'll be on the third row. Gert Fischer and Tim Pauschman on the fourth row, or Peach. I don't know how he pronounced his name, but Tim, they're on the fourth row. Leon Byrne and Valentin Barrier, let's pop down. They will be on the fifth row. Mattia De Campo and Remy Papin will be on the sixth. Jamie Nuttall and Aidan Walsingham will be on the seventh. The 8th will be Angel Inestrosa and Samir Foch. The 9th will be Mikowski and Julian Naumann. And then the 10th row will be Nikita and Philip Slasky. Then going back even further, we got Luke Whitehead, champion. He will be joined by Bonsfields. Then right at the very back, we have Matteo Naldi and Anton Tarasov. So yeah, only 24 runners today, but all of them in a shout for a good finish today, really. I think all the way back down to, I don't know, about 15th place. You never know, Jay.
No, you do never know. There's lots of flashpoints on this circuit as well. Turn 1 with its unusual off-camber wide entry and wide exit has plenty of opportunity for contact. And then if they're still all together once they get through to the long sweeping right hand around up the S's, plenty of opportunities for instance and some swapping of positions on lap 1. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. We've got a few people that, you know, starting a bit closer to the top 10 or indeed in the top 10 that we don't normally see, so see how they can get on once they've got a few less cars in front of them, see if they can get involved in that action.
Minnie Simeon's questioning the pronunciation of Sebastian Apostle. Is it Apostol? Apostol? Apostle? Who knows? What were you going to go for? Apostol?
I think, as always, once we analyse these names, he's probably right. It's Apostol, because there is a T in there that we're just ignoring, but it could be silent. I don't know.
Apostol. Seb Apples. Seb, the top BMW.
Definitely not Googling it now.
Oh, we got a minute to go before we sign off for the last little qualifying session, and we go into the final race of the season for Tier 1. Season 12, Jake, sum it up in 3 words, if you will.
Oh, God, I don't know. I'm not. That's not me. I don't do those things.
Oh,
That's too few words.
4 then.
I can't. We've got a race to do, all right?
Come on. Come on.
It's been.
It's been. One more.
Oh, I don't do these things. I leave the headline stuff to you.
Okay. All right.
I'll sum it up at the end in more words than 3 or 4.
Okay. All right. Alex Rogers says Luke Whitehead. There you go.
Yeah, I mean that was gonna be the obvious one. Yeah.
Luke Whitehead. There you go. I mean, possibly. So they are all hopping around the track now for the first and final outlap as we go into the final session of the season. Grantis then, without the pressure of his teammate starting around him, you would say that he's going to have a good race today. Obviously, he's got Jardier just behind, but having that pressure off him, opportunities for a win definitely on the cards, I think, really. Obviously, Lou Whitehead down in 21st is going to be a threat, but I don't know, given the
really didn't like those cones.
He did not like the cones.
You saw that as well.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I know lots of people use that for reference, but do you think these boys use it for reference?
Potentially, it's quite. I didn't quite see where they were on the track. I just saw them flying. It depends. It's not a massively heavy braking zone. But yeah, maybe a tactic. I don't know. He just really didn't like them. Yeah, he's got a great opportunity today, isn't he? I mean, he's got very fast and pumped up Jardier and Sebastian Apostle behind him. So he's not going to have it all his own way, but it's the opportunity for him, right? With Luke starting where he is. Interesting to see where Luke can get as well. But yeah, you would have to say if the race was clean, then it should be one of those top 3 or 4 that's taking the win. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. I think the BMW is going to be a right surprise today. Both of them, all 3 of them really, inside that top 10. You've got Sebastian, Luke and Gert all possibly going to be fighting hard, driving fast, obviously, and getting in the way, mainly, because they're massive, right? So not too sure what kind of threat those guys are going to pose, but we'll see, I'm sure, very shortly. Not so many long straights apart from the one that we're on right now, I guess. What's that called? Is it between 11, 12 into 13? Yeah, a real long straight, and I guess the one going down past the pit. But apart from that, it does lend itself to Porsche kind of territory, doesn't it, this track? Funny that, we're in Germany, right?
Not going to use the straight line speed, but yeah, turn 1's definitely the best overtaking opportunity, especially as you can pick a couple of different lines through that. I've been corrected that apparently the best line is through those cones and they never survive.
Ah, okay.
So
Beeswax saying that. Lovely.
Yeah, so it's just our misinformation is normal, or lack of knowledge. Nothing new there.
It's been a while since I've raced here. Last time I raced here, I was actually taken out in turn 12. That was in our little foray into single-seater racing, Jay. I think you might have won the championship, did you not? Or got very close. Let's not talk about that right now. We're about to go racing
I'll
here,
talk
Jay.
about that if you want to know.
No. All fine. Grantis Caracas about to go green. He does. Gets a fantastic start. He's got Jardier on his left side looking to make a move into turn 1. He's going to go for the outside line. Tadas and Sebastian going toe-to-toe. We got cars all over the place. We're 4 wide into turn 1 as Grantis Caracas pushes Jardier out wide onto the rumble strip, but all nice and fair. Tadas and Sebastian going toe-to-toe back there, and Luke trying to get on it in the big old pink BMW. Any tears back there, Jay?
No, I think we're all okay for the moment. Nothing major. Yeah, it was a really late dive from Luke Southall picking the 3rd line through turn 1. He nearly made it up the inside of Tadas, but in the end had to concede the position to Lionel Anderson, who's made a great start in that Honda. Oh no, my timing screen's aligned to me again.
It's okay, no problem. Any news on Luke Whitehead? Let's see whereabouts he is. He is fighting away in the mid-pack, I think. Around Nikita and Bondsfield, so he's going to want to get a move on, see if he can take a few scalps at the beginning here. He's up massively. Oh, the timing screen's doing an absolute wrong in front of me, I think, but he is fighting around that area with Nikita and Mikowski, sorry, not Bondsfield. So he's in P18. He might even get a few more here. I think that's Samir Foch in the red Ferrari. He's just about to try and make his way past, but oh, we've got some contact with him and Mikowski. Nothing done there damage-wise, apart from Mikowski having to take some action, avoiding, of course. And that's Bondsfield with the damage on the 999 Mercedes back there. Towards the top, though, we've still Grantis Caracas, Jardier, Jutvinicus and Apostle, and the gaps are opening up a little bit now, Jay.
Yeah, the top 3 hanging on pretty well. It was a difficult one there for Mikowski and Whitehead. I mean, Mikowski was alongside, massively alongside, and had every right to be there, but it's a corner where you're always going to be pushed out wide, which Luke was. So, yeah, one to be looked at, maybe. But yeah, as they come over the line for the first time then, so it's Tadas that's had the best start of those front 3, making up a position into P3, and now we'll see what the race pace is like of these 4. As Jardier closes up a little bit into turn 1 on the brakes. We'll be looking to use the power of that Honda somewhere to get past. But I'd expect the Porsche to be pretty strong through these opening few turns. Slow speed where the Porsche likes it. I see Tadas closing right up on Jardier here, using that grip of the Porsche. A little bit out wide, but yeah, keep an eye on those BMWs at the back of this. Sebastian Postel obviously losing a position on lap 1, but Luke Southall's right there with them now, closing up a little bit on this lap to make it a 5-way fight for the lead.
We're on board currently with Mr. Whitehead as he tries to suss out Samir Foch just ahead of him for P17. We'll keep tabs on what's going on here because obviously Luke's going to be going for gold all the way back there from round about 21st he started, 20th, 21st. As he moves to the inside line to take a dive on Samir, he doesn't, thinks better of it. It's going to be hard old work for him. I think he's got his work cut out there, Jay. We'll keep an eye on his pace currently. He's made up a good few places at the beginning here. P18 he is at the moment. Tadas, though, like you say, doing well. But he's being followed quite quickly by Sebastian. Maybe we should jump on board with him to see if he can work out how and where he can get past those Porsches. You would think it will be into turn 13 chicane, right? Or near there. He might have a go. You can't really overtake many places apart from turn 1 here, Jay.
Well, that's the thing. Turn 1's the one who wants to line up. It's oh so tempting to try it into the chicane, but it's just too high speed nowadays. With the grip these GT3 cars have got, that you're taking a big risk going alongside through there. You're much better off trying to get the best run through and pick the best exit out of the final corner to give you a chance down on the way to turn 1. But all fairly equal, apart from Jardier, who's trying to use the speed of that Honda down to turn 1 then. Again, just staying patient, picks a little wider line, a little deep from Grantis Kirkus there. That will allow Jardier to try and attack, but inside covered by Grantis gives him no opportunity to find a way inside, but he's struggling a little bit here. Jardier sniffing the lead of the race.
On board at the moment with Jardier, looking back to Tadas, literally onto the rear of Grantis Kirkus as he tries to find where Grantis is making slight mistakes and errors, see if he can improve on that. Grantis going quite deep. Luckily,
yeah, I can't work out if he's a little offline into some of these corners, or whether it's Jardier that's trying to pull a different line to throw him off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely very keen to get over onto the inside to cover off the corner every time from Jardier, and I think that's what's just making him struggle a little bit, having to drive in his mirrors completely here. It's only 2 temps covering the top 2.
Having to lift there, by the looks of things, through 8. Did see exactly what you were talking about there, going out of turn 5 into turn 6, covered the inside of 6, so we didn't have Jardier trying to jump in. Not that you can really overtake there, but Grantis obviously felt the need to go slightly defensive, even though it was quite high speed there. But I think, like you were saying, Jay, the only place to overtake will be into turn 1. So we'll stay with these boys because it looks like Jardier has managed to just kind of take in a little bit of that gap. He's got to get a good run on him.
Tadas has gone wide, coming out of the chicane, got all out of shape, and he's lost the position to Sebastian Apostel then. He managed to get it back on track, but that puts him down to P4.
Thanks for jumping in there, because we were on board with Jardier. We didn't see that happen. As Jardier pulls to the inside, Tadas goes defensive on the rumble strip, then Jardier tries to go for the undercut, whips back around. Not enough space in that corner to get that to work effectively, but if you work it into the next few corners, you might be able to get a good run. But yeah, that Porsche seems to be quite slippery, Jay. It doesn't seem to be overly catchable in the straights, which is, you know, we have seen that you can get that Porsche quite slippery, even if it does fail on the top speed. That back straight there might not be the place to do it. But yeah, I guess you would have thought that the NSX would be able to munch him, but obviously not. Wasn't close enough going into turn 15. Wasn't able to put the pressure on as Grantis went defensive into the little right-hander there as we come down towards 8 and 9.
Yeah, no, it's quite tricky. The pit straight isn't the longest, as you pointed out earlier. The longest straight is the one before the 13-14 chicane, but with the kink in it, makes it not the easiest, and with no real braking zone, or not much of a braking zone into the chicane, not much you can do with it unless you're alongside. So yeah, he's not able to use the top end of that Honda, which is where it's strongest, down that pit straight. But he's still getting close enough to have a sniff. He just needs to pick the lines through turn 1 and 2 to try and get alongside or past.
board with him then. See if he can do any damage going into this lap. Obviously, last time around you saw Jovanicus and Postle going toe-to-toe. Obviously, Tadas making a mistake going wide through this corner exactly. Oh, Jardier makes a mistake. So does Grantis. Slightly nulled then. You saw Jardier put some opposite lock on as he came out of the corner. And Grantis going wide, whipping up the dirt. This is a good opportunity here for Jardier. Jardier, yes, was on Oppo lock, but still had the speed. Was able to take the pace. Grantis goes to the defence. Jardier on the outside is going to run him round, and he's going to come for the cutback here, Jay. It's hard to do, though, here. You've got to work into the apex of the next corner and see if you can get yourself a good drive. Jardier's trying all the lines. There's a double
cutback if he can cut back underneath for free, but he's chosen the outside line. It's going to be a long way around there unless you can get a nose alongside. He's definitely hunting. There's an almighty battle going on, by the way, from 6th all the way back to 11th, 12th. Make that 13th and 14th now. I didn't want you to break away from that battle as they were battling for the lead, but they were all alongside each other into the final few corners. That battle of Tim Pierschman holding on in that Audi. Really good performance from him. He's made his way up to 6th. From, I think he was lower end of the top 10, isn't he? And he's being hunted by Gert Fischer, Mats Lynam Andersen, Remy Papin and Valentin Barrier in their Hondas. Make that 6 Hondas with Leon Burt and Angel Instroza. Shows you how good a job Jardier is doing in that Honda at the moment.
Yep. Fighting hard. We are with that little train, by the way. Just on board with Remy Papin, as he's kind of right in the middle of what's going on. But yeah, Gert Fischer on the hunt then.
He needs a way past, right?
Yes.
It's clear that Pierschman, he made a good start, but it's unusual heights for him in AOR, and the guys behind him, you can see the gap extending to the top 5, and will want to be passed as soon as possible. Especially now, Luke Whitehead's made his way up past Nuttall, Mikowski and Naumann, and is on the back of this train of Hondas in P15.
Yeah, you can just see him there right at the very top of the screen, very briefly. He's coming up to the back in Nikita. That's going to be a tough one to pass. Let's quickly just see what's happening with Jardier and Grantis. Not as close this time around. Grantis won't have to go defensive, you think. He definitely doesn't. Keeps on his line. Jardier goes for another lap. Let's go back with Gert Fischer, see if he goes on the attack. He doesn't. But someone does behind him. Is that Valentin Barrier?
Yeah, he's gone far too deep trying to outbrake Leon Burt, and he's made contact with, that's Mats Lynam Andersen, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's still trying to get going in the Honda. Massive damage on him. Cars having to go left, right, and centre to avoid the stricken Honda into turn 1. That was very much a case of concentrating on your competition rather than what's in front of you, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to go on board with Valentin Barrier as he outbreaks himself massively and slams in the back of Mats, unfortunately spinning. And I think that's Luke Whitehead makes contact. That must have been Aidan Walsingham also get caught up with that, and Luke did take a little slap, and we got cars behind him as well.
Pretty serious damage, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was Naudi and DeCampo also coming together into turn 1, Jay. Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah.
No, not at all. Yeah, there's yeah, I was just on board with Luke White and saw the damage just as you were pointing it out, so you've done the job for me there, so no worries.
Panel beaters, you're called back in.
Absolutely. I hope he didn't fire too many of them. So that Porsche needs a few of them at the moment.
Yep. Aidan Walsingham fighting off the current champ then. He's lost a few points of downforce on the front end, one would say. Get that sorted out and he'll be back on track then. I don't think he'd be able to keep it down.
The one that really needs to get this move done now then.
Yeah.
He's been given that breathing room behind by that incident. And in race pace, he's been pretty close to Southwood and Postle the last few races, so he needs to get up there as soon as possible. He's just ahead, having a little look on Apostle. It's actually Luke Southwood that's going to dive down the inside. Can he get far enough alongside to hang it all the way around the left-hander? Porsche has got supreme grip on the inside. Luke Southwood will try and cut back underneath. Having none of it, though, and they stay where they are.
It's a hard old few corners there. You did see in the background there Gert Fischer and Tim going toe-to-toe. Gert Fischer still behind, unfortunately. Let's see what's happening with the Dream Team back behind, I think. I can't actually see him. Luke Whitehead is in the pit, Jay.
He's boxed, yeah.
Yeah.
Along with Valentin Barrier and Mats Leiner-Manson. So those cars that took the damage in those incidents will be looking to get it repaired, get back out and see if they can get an undercut over the next 20 minutes or so before the main pit stops for everybody else.
Yeah. Good time to pull the pit, do you reckon?
Depends how much damage, really, or how much they want to repair.
Yeah.
It's a balancing act between repairing too much damage and therefore never being able to make up the time against the car being too slow from not repairing enough damage. It's a sliding
scale.
Whitehead that gets back out. Yes, it's a matrix of calculations that you don't possibly know.
Fair enough.
Yeah, Luke Whitehead's back out ahead of Leiner-Manson and Barrier, looking like he's going to be stationary for a bit longer.
I think Barrier might even be caught.
Definitely got some damage still on that car, so I think he's made the decision to either not take any or just a little bit.
Yeah, possibly. We're on board at the moment with the other Luke, who's trying to get onto the back of Tadas. You might see a move down into turn 1 here, but I think it's quite far back actually, to be quite honest with you. And the gaps have opened up slightly. Jardier's fallen off a little bit from the back of Grantis Caracas. He'll be very much looking at what Luke Whitehead's doing at the moment, keeping an eye on those lap times, I would have thought, as Luke goes quite shy into turn 1. Tries a bit of a cutback manoeuvre on different lines to that Porsche then, trying to find a bit of extra pace. As the Porsche, weird braking into turns 3. Very strange from
well, you can't.
Tadas.
The Porsche's a bit weird. You can't really brake as deep into the corners as some of the other cars. You almost have to get most of the braking done before it, and that's why you see them turning in so early into those apexes, not just covering it off. That is how the car naturally wants to rotate. So it does look a bit weird, and you've got to be a bit. You've got to be very aware of it as the car following.
Yeah, it's very aggressive on the turn. It's almost like you stick it in and brake and then see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. My words aren't coming to me easily today, as you probably noticed. Whatever the thing into the corner is called, where you're braking into the corner. I can't remember anything today.
Braking zone?
No, the style of braking.
Oh, trail braking.
Yes, there you go. Why can I not think of that? You can't really trail brake as strongly in the Porsche. So yeah, they try and get the braking done a little bit earlier and get that turn in, because that's where the strength of it is. Probably something to do with where the engine is or something. I don't know.
Who knows? Technical words. Luke is the fastest man on track at the moment. Just like to point that out, as you would have thought. Currently just came out to the 1:53.8. Saying that, his last lap showing a 2:49 for me. I think this is his first full lap. Oh, is it? He said it's gone purple for me, but maybe it was always purple back there. 1:53.8. Maybe that's his purple.
He does have a fast lap of the race. It wasn't his last lap.
Ah, okay. Maybe I'm just jumping ahead then.
Well, that shows that he had the pace before the incident. So theoretically, knowing Luke, he will do afterwards. But yeah, those gaps started to string out a little bit further at the front, as that battle between Apostle, Tadas and Luke Southall has got a bit more interesting between the three of them. It's allowed the top twos to pull away a little bit, and Grantis now he's stopped driving in his wing mirrors, has pulled out just over a second from Jardier now. So of course starting to show a bit of its pace. This is always the case when you're driving it in your mirrors. You're going to lose a little bit of time.
On board with Luke at the moment, as we're kind of watching what's going on with this little battle for the top 4. How is it all working out for championship places at the moment? Obviously, Grantis is probably going to hold on what he needs then for P2. Jardier.
Yes, so the battle was P3, which of this leading group, Jardier and Tadas are the two that are closest. So Tadas is directly behind in the championship. He's 16 points behind today.
So at the moment,
doing
well.
P4.
Yes, doing very well indeed. Okay, perfect. Well, that's exactly what we want. Well, at least for him, obviously not for Tadas. We're watching a little battle that's going on with Tadas at the moment. There's no point going down to Luke Whitehead, because obviously he's doing Luke Whitehead things, and he'll hopefully come out in a very competitive place after his early pit stop. What other races have we got going on at the moment? Let's hop on down.
Ninth down to 12th is quite interesting at the moment. So that's Leon Burnt after getting caught up in that incident, although I don't think he took as much damage as the other three, being chased down by Nikita and Mikowski, who, after we saw getting pushed off on the gravel on lap 1 by Luke Whitehead's recovered nicely into P11. So it looks like he's going to try and get a run down towards turn 1 on the outside of Nikita. He's going to have to go the long way around later on the brakes. Nikita will hold that inside line. He's still there, Mikowski. It's amazing how many times we've seen that this season.
It's
They're
hard,
there,
though,
there you
isn't
go. It took me a while. They're my words of the season. They're still there.
I like it. They're still there. But it is hard to gauge, though, you know?
Oh, it is, I know. And we're used to coming from a level of racing where we're all a bit more gentlemanly and a bit more respectful in terms of giving space to people. At this level, yeah, they're playing with such fine margins and they're being so aggressive with each other. Yeah, I'm sure it does tend to happen more. In my case there, I would have held the car a lot further left, probably not got the pass done and lost about a second. So, yeah,
they don't want to give up, that's the problem. They don't want to give away those fine margins, Jay. Well, crucially, Luke Whitehead, hopefully, if he comes out, puts the lap times in, which I think he is. That's,
well, he's a 10th off his best, which is a 10th off the fastest. Actually, Grant
I was going to say,
got the fastest lap to race back. Fastest,
yeah. But
you're playing with temps, though.
But he's mucking around, though, for what we're looking at here, which is 1:53. So he's going a second faster than the people he's around. So, you know, you've got to see him jumping around to the 6th, 7th, 8th kind of area. I think for Luke Whitehead, he's going to get himself inside the top 10. So, yeah, the interesting strategy. Obviously, he's going to be slow later on, so we'll see what happens. Mini Simeon was just
shows the...
sorry.
So, yeah, no, of course, we'll go back to that one sec. Mats Lynham Anderson, who did fully repair the car, is showing the power of the undercut, though, that we have seen. So he's now got the fastest lap of the race. He's about 14 seconds back from where Luke is because he repaired all that damage, but he's going even quicker. So any that do want to jump out of that top battle or the mid-end of the top 10, that's the time that will suggest you can get a few seconds on your competition.
I was going to say, Mini Simeon coming in with some information about his breakfast. Coffee alone is not helping his cold here. He's going to have to scoff some Jaffa cakes for the double hit. Red dye number 5. If you
That's
know
because there was a bit of an argument going on in the chat about what could help your cold. One was
saw.
Jaffa cakes, one was coffee. Apparently, Mini Simeon going for the double helping to see if between them they can help.
If you know the red dye number 5 meme, then I salute you.
Of course, I don't.
Oh, come on!
I don't know memes.
It's not a meme. It's if you're around the YouTube space, you'll know all about the red dye number 5. Anyway, so Mikowski is fighting Nikita and Jamie Nuttall and those around. Leon Burnt is obviously in this tussle as well. I think Whitehead's going to jump all these boys. I've got a strong feeling. We've got some more people pitting now, Jay. Samir Foch. We'll see what the gap is completely now that Luke Whitehead's been able to amass, because Foch was fighting with him around that kind of space. So I think you'll see how much time that he's been able to cobble together by pitting early. So let's stay with Luke briefly. Walsingham's got himself a disqualification though, so not sure why that is. Reversing down the pit lanes like that? Who knows? That looks like an imposed disqualification though. Not seen a DSQ like that for a while, Jay.
No, I was just had one eye on that as well. So strange, unfortunate. Maybe we can find out in the race what that was for. But yeah, I mean, I think Samir was a little bit behind. He has come back out probably around 3 or 4 seconds behind Luke. So Luke definitely is holding station or making progress, which suggests, and by his rear bumper, it suggests he didn't do all the damage, if any. So yeah, he's on target.
5.5 seconds, I think, Jay, is the gap that he's managed to get. I think roughly about 5 seconds. Then, what we're saying.
Yeah, because he was at the back of the group that was catching Gert Fischer, who was trying to pass the Audi of Pietschmann at the front of that group. And he's come back out. Gert Fischer is also a bit sturdy. He's 5.5 ahead of him. So yeah, he's in about the ballpark, but he's not eating chunks into them, I don't think. Gert Fischer would be the interesting one with a clean car. What he does, he did 53.9 last time around, which is quick, but it's not quicker than leaders. We've got a lot more in the pit then. So Remy Papin's had enough of trying to get past the widest Audi in Germany today, the Pietschmann in P5, and he's going to try and undercut him. Leon Burnt also in, as along with Nikita and Jamie Nuttall. So Samir Foch is just going to go wheel to wheel with Jamie Nuttall into turn 1. Luke Whitehead behind. No, Luke Whitehead has jumped these guys. So yeah, he's about in the middle of the Hondas, which is where he was.
So find them.
One thing, ATC, with your big upcoming update, some better broadcasting tools.
I don't think they will. I've got a funny feeling they're going to stay where they are with the old bits and pieces like that. I hope not, but you never know. It is quite archaic. Whispers of Assetto Corsa 2 I saw in the
well, it's in development already. Yeah, it's the next game. So a few more pisses then, and a few more significant pisses. Sebastian Apostle comes in from P3 along with Tadas, and then Tim Pietschmann in that Audi wants to try and stay ahead of the undercutting Remy Papin. Then he's also in along with the Honda of Angel Innestroza and Mikowski and DeCampo, and I can keep going.
They've all come in. Tarasov also coming in.
That'll be the interesting battle, because Pietschmann has, as said, the widest Audi. He's been brilliant in defence after his good start up to P6. So he's pulled the trigger one lap later to try and cover off the chasing Remy Papin, and now Luke Whitehead is on a couple of seconds back to Papin. So that'll be interesting to watch on the exit.
I'm on board at the moment with Luke Whitehead because I want to see a direct improvement that he's managed to get himself by pitting early.
Oh, actually, even more interesting, Luke Southwood pitted the lap before. He's got past Sebastian Apostle, and I don't think he needs to switch. He's not attacking Tadas, but he's got in between the two of them, so a little bit of progress there.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. This is the battle I was hoping Luke Whitehead would find himself in, but unfortunately he hasn't. But has he found time on them? That's the main thing. Whereabouts is Luke Whitehead coming through turn 3?
He's about where he is. He's about where he was before the incident. He's in the middle of these Hondas.
Oh, it's a shame. I really thought he would...
Pietschmann and Papin going wheel to wheel. Pietschmann did get back out. He's pushed Papin out wide through turn 4. Or 3, not sure. But he's going to have to get up to speed. But he has crucially kept that advantage. And that will be the worst sight for Remy Papin. He'll want to try and find a way through, because everybody has been stuck behind this Audi today that's allowed the top 5 to get away. You can have a look. I presume we're on board. Yeah,
I am. Yeah, we're with
you can have a look. Oh, he tried it in the second half of the right-hander. You can see how desperate he was to get past, but thankfully thought better of sticking his nose there. Up the hill through the S's. This is where it's quite tricky if your tyres aren't up to temperature, but looked really good through there for Pietschmann. I'm sure that's another name I'm butchering, but you know, we get used to it. We go.
It's obviously a hard car to pass, this one, because a lot of cars have been stuck behind him.
Well, that big crash between all the Hondas and the incidents that we saw that caught up Luke Whitehead as well was the group trying to get past Pietschmann, and they're really struggling today, which means he's driving fantastically well.
What's happening between the top guys? Jardier's pulled it in the pit. Grantis Caracas has gone for one more, so that we've got some interesting pitting going on from the top boys. We'll see what happens there. Let's just hop back slightly to Luke Whitehead, because he's getting incredibly close, but not close enough actually. We'll stay where we are. We'll stay with Tim and Remy Papin, because it's like a close old battle that's going on here. We have got almost everyone pitted now, apart from Slasky, who's just come in, and Grantis Caracas, who is still out on a lap at the moment, but you would have thought would be in momentarily, Jay.
There's no need to hang it out too much longer at the moment. Yeah, Jardier did clear Tadas, but by the gap a bit smaller than it was before the stop, and will probably come down a little bit during this lap as his tyres come up to temperature. So yeah, you can't afford to wait too long, Grantis. But yeah, this will be the lap that you're in. And now we'll see if Luke Southall has a better chance of getting through the Porsche of Tadas now that he's passed Sebastian Apostle. Got Fisher's on the back of these groups as well. So that early stop worked really well from him. He did clear the Audi of Pietschmann and is now able to show a bit of his pace.
see Grantis is in, Jay. Might be wise, actually, if we hop up to Jardier to see if he's managed to make any kind of inroads on that out lap, or whether he had a disaster. We've got some penalties coming in here. Zlasky and DeCampo with 5 seconds each. We'll try and find out what that's for in a minute. Where's Jardier then? He's just a few corners down the road. We'll stay with him, I think, as we wait for Grantis Caracas to be released, which he has been. It looks like Jardier is actually being caught slightly here by the guys behind. They look incredibly close, Tadas and Southall. They are fighting like lions behind as well. So let's see what Jardier is going to come out with. Oh no, Grantis has got a massive amount of time to spare. Don't worry, Jay. All is fine at the moment for Grantis Caracas. He will keep the lead.
Not for Tadas into turn 1 though. Luke Southall looking to make his way around the outside. Had to go too deep and couldn't hold alongside the Porsche. He's trying to cut back underneath, but nowhere to go with that Porsche covering him off in front. Yeah, Jardier was obviously had that lap of warming the tyres. The two behind did make a bit of an impression on him, so I'd expect that gap to come down maybe something up to a second this lap. But yeah, it's definitely been a good stop for Grantis. We've retained, if not extended, his advantage.
Yeah, it's a shame. I thought there was going to be a little closer on there, but unfortunately not. Never mind. Well, it's still where it is for Luke Whitehead. He's got himself into the top 10 though, Jay. So I think there was an improvement through that pit stop phase. More than we think, actually. P10.
Well, bear in mind the cars that were removed from this in that accident as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
In terms of on track, he's where he was, just a few positions ahead.
Don't let me down.
He's definitely... No, I know. I'd love to see a charge through the field from Luke Whitehead as well. We probably still will see one with these cars ahead of him, but that damage is definitely not enabling him to use the pace that Porsche has. But this was the balance we talked about: is do you, aka who's the first of the ones that did decide? So Mats Lynam Anderson did fully repair his car and he's back in 19th place.
Yeah.
So that was the balance for Luke, and so he's not going to have pace to, I think, strike into that top 4 or 5, which he might have done before the damage, but he can definitely have a go at the 3 in front of him.
It all depends though how much that damage is going to be, affecting him. Simeon saying still Luke from 10th, 21st to 10th. I know it's. I mean, it would have been
absolutely.
It's still very, very good.
He's our reigning champion, so a 2-time champion at 0-1. That's what you'd expect.
Yeah, 100%. Right, well, let's head back down then slightly to what battle Luke is trying to keep up with. The problem is these Hondas are dragging themselves along on the back of this Audi. So yes, they're being slowed up slightly, but also being pulled down the straight at a rate of knots. And Luke's got to kind of hook himself onto that, otherwise he's not going to be able to fight. And he could be playing that little seesaw game right now, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. He wants them to fight a little bit more, just so he can get in that slipstream. But the pace of this group, especially Angel Inostroza at the back of it, is pretty rapid. He's pretty much level with the leaders last time round. Obviously aided from a double slipstream ahead of him, and say that he almost goes sailing off the road. But yeah, he would want them to go wheel to wheel at least once or twice, just to allow him to get back into that slipstream. Because yeah, double Honda slipstream on an Audi, that little Porsche doesn't stand a chance.
You can see him pushing like really hard as well, bless him, to try and wring the neck out of that Porsche, try and get up to where he wants to be. But those guys ahead of him, they're not hanging around, Jay.
No, absolutely. And still trying to get through the point of this Audi at the Nürburgring today. Probably the only Audi at the Nürburgring. Oh no, Nauman's down in 12th. But yeah, it's really not been easy for them. And what is it about that Audi there? It's the traction off the corners, it looks like. It's got good straight line speed as well, but the Honda does reel it back in at the end of the straights. It just seems the way it punched off that corner onto the long straight. It's the traction that seems to be really helping him in the defence. We'll see if that happens again on the final corner. Good exit from both of them, but yeah, it just punches away in that first phase. That really helps you when you're defending. It means that they don't pick up the slipstream until a lot later in the straight. Might be a move into turn 1 if you want to pop down to P13. Mikowski on the back of Naumann in the other Audi. trying to defend from the entire field to date. Samir Fosh and Jamie Nuttall also in his slipstream. Are they both Ren Welton cars?
Ran Wilton's. Who's
They
that?
are,
Samir?
yeah.
Jamie Nuttall,
No,
sorry.
Tim
Yeah.
Peachman and Nauman, 2 Audis.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry. I know where you are now. Yeah, so Peichman, Ran Welton, and yeah, Julian Nauman, Ran Welton. Yes, correct.
So 2 Audis, a team effort to frustrate half the grid today. I think Leon Burnett in the Ren Welton
think he
esports
is.
team as well, just
Yeah.
ahead in that Wonder.
He's obviously decided to keep it securely Japanese. Whereabouts is he? He's P11 at the moment. So I'm back with Peichman, P7. Got Remy
We
Pappin.
really need some help with that, don't we?
do, I know,
Everyone can. He's having the best race of this season for him, that's for sure. That Audi currently down so low I can't see him. Is this his first?
No,
race
Tim's
of
been
the
with us.
season?
No, Tim's been with us.
Oh no, there he is, P30. Yeah, best result so far of P13. So yeah, definitely having the best race of the season if he can hold on to this. It's not like he's massively under pressure either. He's say the way that car's punching off is helping him.
Jardier does go purple, Jay. So maybe opening the tap slightly. It might all be done.
No, we need to. I mean, Grant Scaricus has shown really, really good pace as he's come out. Well, that purple lap not on the lot. I don't know if I'm getting a different time entry. It's showing for me his last lap was 53.4, but his best lap is purple 53.1.
Yeah. It might not have been the last lap, but he's just he has taken it recently as Samir Fosh, Mikowski, and Jamie Nuttall all go side by side. No one wins that, unfortunately. Nikita going on
Nikita,
the attack too.
Almost contact through turn 2. Big twitch of the rear end from Jamie Nuttall. Nikita is going to try and stick it down the inside. He'll have to cut back underneath, take as much curb as he dares. I don't think he'll get a run down into this left-hander unless you're very brave or got a very compliant competitor alongside you. But yeah, it's a great little fight this from P12. And this is the one thing with the race being a little quieter for a little few people. We get to watch some battles and some drivers that we've not been able to concentrate on as much. Jamie Nuttall in the MP15, of course, Tier 2 winner last year.
He was.
First season in Tier 1, and he's equipped himself fairly decently so far and running nicely at them.
Part of the Visceral Boys, I think, if my memory serves me correctly.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
We're watching Mikowski, part of the Jardier community team, with Samir Fosh on the outside going into it's turn 11, turn 10, turn 10, coming down towards turn 11. Didn't work out for him, Joe.
No, it didn't, and this might be his opportunity, because there might be a little bit of anger in the helmet of Mikowski in front of him. He's got a 10-second penalty, which will put him well out of this fight, but will probably make him even more desperate to get past the Audi of Nauman, see if he can get 10 seconds down the road. He's almost pushing that Audi through the final corner. That might compromise him in getting a good enough run out of the final corner. He did cut back a little bit at the last part of the final turn just to try and get the drive off it. Now we'll see Audi versus BMW. It definitely wasn't acceleration benefit for the Audi there. As they run down to turn 1, Nauman's going to show him the outside line. Hopefully he doesn't go too deep because Mikowski's coming straight back underneath him. He'll have to go the long way around turn 2, which there's different lines through here, but as long as Nauman holds that inside line and then covers it again for free, he should stay ahead. Great racing between the pair of them, and Samir Fosh, just as I say that, a little too late on the brakes, and that's taken Mikowski out.
Yeah, he got hit from behind.
I do apologise to Samir there.
Yeah, it's Jamie Nuttall actually, went into the back, got the brakes wrong and hit Samir, which then hit Mikowski. So yeah, that was a Nuttall problem, unfortunately.
That's unfortunate for Samir then, and obviously for Mikowski, who got caught up in that as well. That's given Julian Nauman a bit of breathing room there.
and for us for the race, because now it's opened up. I've hopped up towards the top 8, Jay, because Remy Papin is really close to Tim now, but is unable to get past. Another question
Story
mark.
of his life today.
I know, right? Another question mark we've had over this race was whether Luke Whitehead's going to keep the pace since he came out and didn't repair the car. And the answer is categorically no. He is staying where he is in P10. Since he had that damage, he's not made any inroads at all on the back of Inestrosa. So that car, I think, is feeling the pressure of the damage, Jay. I think it's confirmed.
Yeah, I kept a little quiet early on in the stint because I know it's a great story for today to watch, but it's pretty apparent as soon as he came out of the pits that he was not lighting up those timesheets. And yeah, with the earlier pit stop as well, he's only going to see those guys ahead of him disappear a little bit more, unfortunately. But you know, his choice to start from the back, and not his fault in terms of getting caught up that gave him the damage. Still a fairly decent recovery and a different experience for him today that I'm sure he'll use going into next season. So out front then, that gap continuing to extend, unfortunately, but Jardier has found a bit of pace to start pulling away from Tadas. Likewise, he's pulled away from XII. The BMW's not quite showing the pace we were promised, not promised, but you know, we hoped.
Yeah.
So that's stringing out a little bit as well.
Oh, Jay, 10-second time penalty for Luke Whitehead.
Was that the incident we saw on lap 1 potentially, pushing Mikowski off up the hill?
Shall we have a little look? I'm on board with Remy Papin, so keep us inundated with anything that happens. Let me just
Will
check.
do. But based on the first 39 minutes of this race, I think Remy Papin will still be staring at the back of Fishman as we get around the end of the lap. But he might prove me wrong. As he actually goes a little wide on the exit of the S's, that gives Remy Papin a little sniff into the left-hander. Papin again a little wide. Fishman a little wide does allow Papin to try and cut back underneath if he can get a really good exit here down the main straight. We said it's not really an overtaking opportunity. He's got the kink to deal with. He'll have to pick a line inside or out. Where's Fishman going? He's hugging that inside line. Papin's going to have to be incredibly brave on the brakes around the outside. He tries to cut back and then cut back again. Not doing. And now Angel Inestrosa's all over the back of this battle as well. We'll see that Audi punch off the final corner really well again. But Remy Papin definitely closer this time. But he's got to look in his wing mirrors as well, as Angel Inestrosa is actually even closer. And yet Remy Papin covers him off because he can see the pace of that bright yellow Honda down into turn 1. Angel Inestrosa again tries to cut back. It's not really paid off too well for anybody through turn 1 and 2. Rage, this one.
No, I just
cutbacks difficult because there's so many series of cutbacks in a row.
I know. It's hard to line up for an attack here. You've got to have a real good overspeed, and it doesn't really pay into the ability to get one because everyone's kind of going the same kind of speed at that time, right? It's not like a fast left-right, and if you get it wrong, then you can whiz past someone. Everyone has to go down to the same speed to get round turn 1. So yeah, I mean, unless you're really deep, I think the cutback is not really going to work. But I was going to say, the penalties that you can see on the screen, all the 5 seconds, the 5 seconds, the 10 seconds, the 10 seconds, are all for minor instances or minor collisions that apparently are avoidable. The big one, I think, is there's a sort of 72 car, which I'm not sure is here anymore. That was Valentin Barrier. That was the big smash-o smash we saw. That was 2 license points and 25 seconds. But I mean, he's not here to take that penalty anyway. So yeah, unfortunately for him, he's going to get himself some license points. Are they carried over? That's the main question, Jay.
I don't know. I presume they're kept on your record for a certain number of races.
You would have thought so, eh?
It's how license points generally work. I don't know how AOR do it, but yeah, that's it's tricky. Obviously, with it ruining so many people's races, you can understand why, but at the same time, you can see how easy a mistake it was to make when he was concentrating on the car next to him. Yeah, just unfortunate, really.
Yeah, a little.
Remy Papin again, then trying to get a run down to turn 1. It's just the way that Audi's punching.
Yeah.
The final corner, he's going to have to... It is, and this is what you were talking about. So if you cut back underneath here, what you want is a left-hander that's got a big braking zone, which you've got to wait another corner till you get it. That's the problem. If turn 3 was after turn 1, then it'd be a bit easier. because this is a bit more of a heavy braking zone, but you're already filtered out from cutting back underneath.
If
So,
3
it's
was
gonna have to get
before 2,
inventive.
but not before 1 or after 4, then it would be better, eh? Try and compute that.
Carry the 6. Add in 2 wayward cones and an Angel in a Stroza, and you might have something.
You might do. Or a very quick off the mark Audi. Remy Papin struggling, the young Frenchman, to try and get past Tim here. But what we're seeing a little higher up, I don't think there's anything else going on apart from what we're watching right now, guys. So we'll stay with you.
Keeping an eye on it. I mean, Sebastian Apostle was catching Luke Southall, and it's the closest battle of that top 5, but Luke Southall's just started to edge out a little bit. Taddeus had a fairly scrappy lap last time around, which has allowed those BMWs to catch up a little bit, and Jardier to get a little bit further away. But yeah, they all seem fairly comfortable where they are.
So how can he do it, Jay? How can Remy do it? Can he put the fear of God of him going down towards, you know, turns 14, 15, really get in the rear end and see if he can scare him into making a mistake into the final right-hander, and then try and stay with him? I don't know how else he's going to try.
Well, because of the way it's punching, he can't get close enough on the brakes into turn 1. I think his bigger problem at the moment is how good Angel Inestrosa steamed down the straights last time around, so he might have to look over his shoulder. He's going to have to sell him a dummy in 3 or 4, potentially. He needs to put him as far offline as he can through turn 2 to then be able to maybe try the cutback on turn 4 after turn 3. But he's going to have to do something a bit different and almost dummy him into taking a wider line than he wants to, or a narrower line, or vice versa. They're very difficult things to set up. They're almost spare at the moment decisions that these racers have to make.
Simeon, just so you know, yes is the answer to your question. He's asking if Grantis Caracas is going to solidify 2nd place in the championship and make it a Veloce 1-2. It is going to be that way, yeah, because we didn't have Tinker van der Velde turned up to contest. So yeah, he's in the right position to take 1 and 2 in the championship and a clean sweep for Veloce. So yeah, there's your answer. There's your answer indeed, all packaged up for you in a lovely little sound bite. Remy Papin struggling. I did notice he's got damage on the front of the car, Joe. Would that be affecting him, do you think?
No, I've just been watching from the rear of the car, so I wasn't aware of that. Yeah, possibly. I mean, damage is damage. There are varying levels of it.
Yeah. It does look more than what Angel's got behind him. So.
Oh, Angel's got damage as well. I should really use other camera angles.
It doesn't look like Angel's got any.
Oh, no, Angel hasn't got any, yeah.
But it looks like Papin has a bit to the front end. So, yeah, could be causing a little bit of a...
Well, Angel's, I think, the most promising of these 3 in terms of pace that he's shown. But he's got 2 cars to get through instead of 1. But
oh, yeah, you're right.
If they start going wheel to wheel ahead, always Remy Papin goes very wide out of the chicane. Back end of that Honda complaining a little bit as he had to get it back in for the final corner. That's going to give Angel a great run down to turn 1. And crucially, Remy Papin that little bit further away from Piechment, which is going to lose him the toe. He covers the inside nice and early. Well, he uses the middle of the track. He doesn't want to commit to the really tight line of the inside line, which doesn't give Angel the chance to cut back underneath. He'll try and do the same in turn 2, but again, nowhere to go. So yeah, it's 3 and 4 you've got to try and set up, really, maybe to make an unconventional move. But because they're all trying to switch back on each other through turn 1 and 2, they never get the opportunity to try it in turn 3 because they've already lost the slip, well, lost the wheels of the car in front of them.
Well, to save us from going too stale by watching the same race over and over again, I know they are the closest on track, but seeing as Victor are so nicely, we'll jump to Sebastian and Luke Southall, the 2 BMWs
well, they have
fighting.
Closed up, haven't they?
They have slightly, yeah. I mean, Sebastian's got to the back of Luke, but Luke's not really made any inroads on the back of Taddeus.
Well, no, they're both catching him quite comfortably.
Let's have a look if we go.
It was half a second last time we talked about it. It's another half a second now on the last lap. So these 2 BMWs definitely coming back at him. We did hear stories of the Porsche struggling a little bit in the latter end of their stints, didn't we, over the season?
Sorry, James, clearing my absolute sinus aids that I'm struggling with today, so just excuse me if I do go quiet for a second. That's what I'm doing. I'm back with you, though.
Good. Oh, Sebastian Apostle getting a little out of shape through the hairpin. So let's see down the main straight how the BMWs are against the Porsches, or the Porsche of Tadas. Again, yeah, maybe the Porsche has got both of the Porsche, because when we were seeing Grantus on the straights as well in comparison to the Honda of Jardier, they definitely seem to have some straight line speed, and they seem to have it again, which is going to make it even more difficult for these moves to be done.
I just don't think it's long enough, Joe. I think that's all it is. I think they're struggling down between 11 and 13, but between 15 and 1, I just don't think it's a long enough turn to be a factor.
It's all happening in the battle we've left.
Oh, God, okay. Well, that was short-lived here. Let's just hop back to Papin. Oh, God, it is. It's very close. We can't ignore that, I'm afraid, guys. Oh, looking for a way past Remy Papin. Puts a threat of it all on the back of Tim. And Angel Nestroza is right there. Luke Whitehead's going to be gaining on this too, Jay. You can't count him out. The Ripper will be wanting all of this action. He's 2.9 per hack. He has actually let off the pace a little bit as Papin goes defensive into 5. Angel's still there, but manages to nip his nose out. And, yeah, Peisman all none the wiser, just up ahead.
Yeah, I think we actually missed the main move, because Angel, Remy Papin was basically on the curb, I think, in turn 1 when I went on board with him.
Oh, God.
So I think he finally got a little impatient and threw it up the inside. As it is, they're all exactly where they were, but hotting up a little bit on that lap.
I think that's what you've got to do here, Jay. You know, if you got that run, you just have to yeet it into turn 1 and just straight line it to the apex. And you know, the other person that you're fighting he's just got to see you there. You got to do a Dan Ricciardo in Red Bull days. You know, just absolutely yeet it from a good 4 car places back and just see what happens. You know.
Well, you're quite right, because it does a couple of things. Even if you outbrake yourself and go wide, you've then thrown the other car off the line, and then turn 2, 3, and 4 become a different story again, because you're both offline for turn 2, and it just gives you an opportunity. Yeah, you obviously want to do it in a safe manner.
I think the man that really should be doing it is Angel, because if you think about it, if you're going to put yourself in that position, i.e. Remy, and you're going to do the dive into turn 1, the straight line dive to the apex, you've got to be careful, because you're going to get taken from the guy behind you. Yes, you're going to upset the guy you're following, but the person who's not upset their rhythm is probably the person who you're fighting against behind. So yeah, maybe not wise for Remy, as he does get the inside line there, Jake. Not enough power to do it though. Yeah, Angel could possibly put that to effect. If he can get up to the back of Remy Papin, I think he would be the one who would best do well out of a crazy dive into turn 1. But you never know, as Remy tries into turn 6, but just not enough pace there.
That's going to... He struggled the lap before against Angel here, and he's definitely going to have to defend that inside line again. Angel's got a really good run around the outside, as long as he can keep something of the car alongside.
Touch.
There is contact. And yeah, that looked really minor, but was enough to unsettle that Honda off onto the grass. I was about to say, you've got to be a bit careful if you're Angel doing that into turn 1, because you've got the option of Peishman not seeing you.
Oh yeah, of course.
Being covered by another car. But yeah, he had to try something. He did that, and unfortunately he's come off the worse.
Oh, not only has he been sent off into the gravel, Jay, sorry to interrupt you, but he's been sent into the clutches of Luke Whitehead. Now that is a bad thing.
It is. I mean, I can't imagine Luke's going to do anything too crazy here. He's got that 10-second penalty, but he'll give it a go if he can keep in that slipstream. It might be enough to maybe just tow him back up. If it's just straight line speed he's struggling with the damage, it might be enough to get him onto the back of the other 2 if he can follow Angel through there.
Just having a look on the car of Luke Whitehead.
Oh, Gert Fischer's off.
Oh dear.
And back on.
Okay. Luke Whitehead's got front, left, right, side and rear damage. So he is heavily damaged. No wonder he was struggling on pace. He's definitely got left and right front and rear damage. I can see it. Not so much the side. Maybe I'm wrong about the side, but he's definitely got front right, front left and front rear. So yeah, unfortunately for Luke Whitehead, that damage,
the old front rear damage.
The old front, you know what I mean.
Takes him going that way.
The old front rear.
You know I like being pedantic. Yeah, no, I mean, he's clearly not right in that car. We know the pace he's shown, and that is the pace of his teammate out in front at the moment, dominating the race. So yeah, clearly struggling with that damage. Still holding on in 10th.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that front rear damage. Sebastian Apostle and Luke Southall are getting close. Tadas, though, holding on to it quite well, Jay. Not running away, but, you know, holding station in 3rd.
Yeah, he had a couple of poor laps, and he's improved since those BMWs have got onto the back of him. And yeah, would be a good podium if he can stay there. It's definitely a return to form. He showed some really good pace early in the season. Looked like he'd be right up there for a championship challenge. Faded away in the middle part, but yeah, showing that pace again today. Yeah, it's actually Apostle that's now looking to get past Southall.
Yeah, that's what we're watching. Southall going wide out of turn 10. Keeping it on though. It seems like that BMW can't go wrong. Makes a mistake, it still holds on to time and space. It bends physics, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's always a bit of jiggle room in these cars.
I've always said that, Jay. Just a bit of jiggle room inside a GT3.
Absolutely. Well, you can pick some different lines.
It seems to that the car is very forgiving, that BMW. I've seen people locking up into apexes, not getting the corner exit very well, not getting the apex entry very well, and still managing to keep on pace.
Yeah, I mean, the best way I can describe the BMW now that the bob's fixed and it's not massively overpowered is it's just neutral.
Yeah.
It's just a default GT3 car. It doesn't have any traits that sort of push it to understeer or oversteer, or you know, it's very planted at all times, which allows you to try those different lines and be a bit more stable in those wheel-to-wheel battles.
I think Luke's pushing. I think that's what we can see from the.
You can smell blood finally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's just pushing to stay where he is, to be honest, Jay. I'm not too sure he's pushing to get past Tadas, because he knows he's got Sebastian right behind him. Where's Fisher? Is he still there? No, he's a little bit further off. Let's just hop back down. Jay.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about Luke Whitehead.
Oh no. Sorry, I was talking
Don't
about.
worry.
It's okay. The gap got incredibly close with Papin and Tim for a second there. It's opened up slightly. So the battle for 7 is still there.
I presume he's trying something. He tried something again. The only thing we've noticed when we have been on board with it, or I've noticed that Audi is starting to lose the rear tyres a little bit. It's getting a little bit squirrely out of certain corners. So maybe that opportunity will still come to Remy. It's the worst thing in the world if you fight a car the entire race and you end up behind them. If you get them in the last couple of minutes, best feeling in the world after an hour-long battle, but he will want to get past after being behind this Audi. He's done a great job, Pishman, to just hold up anybody that's even thought about trying to get past this afternoon.
Talking of the other Audi, Nauman's still holding Nuttall and Foch back there in 14th. So his teammates doing well too.
He's an Audi.
Of course it is. The Audi of dreams. We're on board with Remy Papin at the moment. Gets a good drive off 15, Jay. Good see a little dive into turn 1 here. Doesn't want anyone around him. He might be thinking about the crazy dive we've been talking about. He's in the slipstream. Tim covers off the crazy dive area, so they are aware of it, Jay. There you go.
Yeah, and that's what Remy Papin will want to do. If he's not going to dive, he'll want to push that Audi as far offline as he can. You can see that Audi really struggling to hold on grip through the left-hander. Gets it tucked in all right for turn 3 and turn 4, fairly level. I saw... No, I didn't. Don't worry. It's getting a bit closer. For that final podium position, Sebastian Apostle's dropped off around a second, but Luke Southall is still around 2 to 3 tenths behind Tadas. So they're going to be the two battles to keep an eye on over the final 4 minutes of this race.
Not long to go, Jay, for the final race of the final season. And we've got 2 races going on at the moment, haven't we, really? 7th and 8th, and also 4th, 5th, possibly 3rd. Who knows? It's probably going to be final lap shenanigans, Jay, again. We don't like to see final lap shenanigans, but they are quite fun. The gap's opened up a little bit by the looks of things between... Oh, no, he's got past, Jay. Did we miss something? Luke Southall is in front. Did we miss something? Are we good? Or is...
It's all over the back of Tadas.
I mean, Apostle has fallen back slightly.
I did say that.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. As we come down the main straight, if we're on board with them, Luke Southall getting a good run out the final corner. Tadas immediately jinking to the right to try and cover off the slipstream. He'll try and keep the car as far to the middle as he can. Force Luke Southall the long way round. Go wheel to wheel. As long as he can keep some part of the car alongside, which he's just pushed out of. and that will cover him off for turn 2. The back end of that Porsche starting to try and rotate. But he's keeping it together and gets that early turn in we've been talking about again. Round 1 to Tadas then. Maybe 2 more opportunities for the amount of time we've got left for Luke Southall to try and get himself on that podium.
Yeah, it's going to be a right old tussle, I think. Sorry, Jay, I didn't see what happened with Sebastian because he dropped off a little bit. I didn't.
He just dropped off about a second. Yeah, I don't think it was an instant. Maybe just a mistake for him somewhere. Leon Burns got past Luke Whitehead to push him out of the top 10. He has been catching him for the last few laps and gets that move done.
Yeah, I think Luke's damage is causing him problems all over the place, really. But yeah, never mind. He's already done the job that he needs to do this season, so all a bit of fun today, but I'm sure he's probably going to be quite disappointed. But hey, 20th to 10th, not too bad. Good day in the office, we would say. Or 11th now.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would have learned just as much coming through the field and driving with the damage than he would have from leading out front. So, mission accomplished, I'm sure, from that point of view.
Just a bit of fun today for him.
Yeah, exactly. So where are we watching going into the... Well, we'll have 2 more laps.
We're with the top 4 at the moment. I think not much going on between Grantus and Jardier, so there's no point really focusing on that. Tadas and Luke and Sebastian, I think, is really the fight that we should be watching at the moment. You keep an eye on what's going on between Papin and Tim as Tadas covers off the inside again. Looks like they are listening to us, Jay. They don't want to open up that inside. They know people can dive it. As Luke goes for the outside, he does get a good dive on him, but it's just not enough. As Tadas covers off that inside line, manages to get the inside for turn 2, and if anything, it was more
turn 1.
Oh, okay. There's more going on the previous. Remy Papin looking for the cutback, Jay.
Yeah, he did. I wondered if he maybe tried to... He's going to try it in turn 2. That's going to be cut off. Again, they're not quite working it out. That looked a lot more promising than it was. He just needs to maybe roll the car a bit deeper into turn 1 to not allow Piechman to go as deep as he did.
Well, that was the final throw of the dice, really, wasn't it? Whereabouts is Grantis Caracas? Let's have a look. I think
he'll get over the line to start 1 more.
Possibly. We've got a minute to go, and he's coming through, I think, 8 and 9. So, I mean, it's going to be close, Jay. I didn't see how many seconds he had going across the line. But, yeah, I mean, 40 seconds to get to the end. He should get 1 more, so we might have one more dive.
I think he will be 1 more, yeah. I think it was about 2 minutes when he went over the line.
Good, alrighty.
Or just over 2 minutes. So, hopefully, for this battle for the podium and the battle for 7th and 8th, which are the ones we're keeping an eye on, we do get 1 more.
Tadas goes defensive down in between 11, 12 and 13. He wiggled a little bit. Trying the old jiggle physics, Jay, as we said about Luke Southall earlier. Doesn't get the move done. Now this is it. This is the last chance, isn't it, down into turn 1. We'll watch this battle, then we'll hop back to Papin and see if there's any movement. So what you've got to do, you've got to try and find a good drive off this final corner. Put the fear of God into your competitor, and he gets a really bad kick of oversteer leaving, Jay. We will have 1 more. Tadas almost thinks that we haven't. This is going to be a real hard pass to try and get past here. I'm not sure he's going to have enough in the can to do it. It was a bad drive. He's going to be under threat from behind, Jay.
Yeah, absolutely. But Tadas has gone wide into turn 1. He's hanged back a little bit. It's that trying to cut the line in turn 2 that's just not allowing him to get close enough through 3. He will have maybe 1 more opportunity if he can stay close through here, but this is where the Porsche has been really strong. Yeah, he didn't get the drive out of the final corner. He had a little twitch, and that's what meant that he unfortunately didn't get the opportunity down into turn 1. Papin and Piechman stay where they are, I think, in 7th and 8th, so this will be the closest battle. He's just got to stay as close as he can through here to give himself maybe 1 more opportunity. Down into the chicane. He's gone deep. He really wants to hold on to the back of that Porsche, and that might pay to his challenge for the podium. It's been a valiant one, but it does look like Tadas will hold on as long as he doesn't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake now, Tadas.
Apostle's right up his butt too. You're right, he is. He's right there. You can see him just behind, but not threatening, I don't think, for that position. Tadas again pulls to the inside like he has done. Grantis is going through the final few corners here, Jay. We can't take away from what a fantastic performance it's been from the Veloce man. Second place in the championship, but first place today for the final round of AOR's season 12, I should say, final round 7, and the final race of the season. Jardier comes across the line for a fantastic podium, second place. Tadas is going to claim the third spot on the podium. Luke Southall across the line in 4th, Sebastian in 5th, Gert Fischer on his own in 6th, Tim and Remy Papin coming around the final corner, and it is Tim to finish in 7th and Remy to finish in 8th. And you've got to say, Tim's best race of the season and Papin's best battle we've seen so far. Behind him then, Angel a little further off, Leon Burnt and the champion coming across the line in 10th and 11th. And then all at sea, these boys, they've been fighting so much off screen, we haven't seen them. Nikita Bogdanovsky and Mikowski coming across the line in 12th and 13th. Naumann heroically keeps Samir Foch behind for 14th and 15th. And that's pretty much as far as I want to go down, really, Jay, because otherwise we start getting into the obscurity and who goes where with penalties and whatnot. But obviously we're going to have some changes with Luke, Nikita and Mikowski. So there we go. That's the final round, Jay. Grantis Jardier from Tadas. And what a good final round we had there.
Yep. As pointed out there, yeah, there's a lot of penalties outside that top 10.
I know.
Nobody will quite know where they are. Yeah, that's season 12 over and done with then. Luke Whitehead, of course, champion elected last time out. That will be Grantis Caracas in P2 then. And P3 should still be Tinko van der Velde, even though he didn't turn up to say Jardier P4. But yeah, it was, as you tend to get when the championship's decided and the final race of the season, a few less cars, but it was a bit more tactical racing today. Unfortunately, if you're listening Nürburgring, because I know it's really easy to change that circuit when it's so reliant on leading into another one, just make that main straight a little bit longer.
I'm trying to find who's doing the donuts, Jay. I can see it's one of the. I think it's one of the.
Aston. I think there were 3 cars parked alongside each other that were just revving their engines in general.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the lads. Where are they? Oh, they've actually.
The Ren.
Yeah, they've gone back now. I think.
Team.
Yeah, I've lost them on the list. They've either run away or they've gone away, and I can't find them. It's Leon Burnt and co. I think the Ranweld's team were all line of stern at the finish there. We didn't get many Dugnuts. I thought there'd be quite a few, but we didn't get many. It was just Naldi, I think, was playing silly buggers at the end. We didn't have Tokyo Drift like we did last season. Never mind. But what a season it was, Jay. I'm all happy with that. I know we finished off a race early. But hey ho, we got there in the end. We had some fantastic races throughout that season. And yeah, we crowned the champion last time, but doesn't mean it wasn't all a good race to watch. And hey, we're going to have a chat with the top 3, I'm sure. Let's see if they join us. Jay, if you don't mind, I would be very much thankful if you could take the reins on that one. I'm struggling today, as you probably could guess. See if we can talk to Jardier. I don't know if Tadas will come in. Grantis doesn't normally come in, so it might just be Jards. It's the only person we speak to. But you never know. Let's see if they come in for a little chat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, the championship might have been done, but we still saw some great racing all throughout the season. I feel it was a little bit more competitive this year with maybe the bot sorting itself out a little bit. Maybe a closer series of tracks. For it. So yeah, I mean the competition throughout the top 10 and the different people that popped up into there, that's always the most interesting thing for me, not just who's out front.
Yeah.
It's those battles towards the back end and those surprise podiums.
There's always something to watch, isn't there, in Tier 1, whether it's top 5, top 10, even outside of that, there's always something to pinpoint. Jay, just before we do have the boys in for a chat.
There is, but just remember guys, there's always there is still someone there.
Oh, there's definitely someone there. I promise. I've been given the green light to give the guys still listening and also people watching this back a little bit of an insight of what AOR is looking to do in the future. And coming up very soon is AOR's next endurance season. I think it's season 4. I think it starts sometime next month towards the end. I don't have an idea on tracks just yet, but there is definitely 4 rounds as far as I'm aware, he says, with some form of confidence. It might not be. So if you do fancy joining in on that with your teams, and I'm sure there are lots of teams that want to take place, make sure you get yourself onto the Discord and select the right bit you need for GT3 and ACC, and you should be able to find all of the endurance bits and pieces. I'm sure there's a better way to find it, but anyway, ACC PC endurance is the area you need, and just ask for information and keep an eye on that endurance info channel for more. There will be races coming up soon. Info on the whole season should be coming up soon, and opening spots. What's it called? Sign-ups. There you go. Sign-ups should be coming up soon. So if you want to get your team in, get in early, because they do run out. I know we ran 2 tiers last time, I think, but you never know. There could just be 1 tier this time. So get in there quick, guys. That's all I can say. I know Jard's waiting. Let's get him up there, Jay, for a little chat. Take it away.
Jardier, welcome back to the comms booth and to the podium. 3rd podium of the season. Finishing off the season with a bang. Just pipped to that pole position, and then a pretty intense fight through the first stint with Grantus. How was that race for you?
Yeah, it was really, really good. Like, I did one race here on Thursday, and I was actually able to beat like really fast driver in the Porsche. So I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance today at the beginning of the race. And literally in the first 10 minutes, we were fighting with Grantus, and I was like, maybe I could have like get him. It was a really nice fight, very, very clean. But then my tires just degraded a little bit more, and he started being like just pushing like half a tenth every lap. So yeah, it was just, I think the top 3 today, Tadej, Grantas, and me, we were like almost like identical pace. It was just half a tenth up and down.
That's always the margins you're playing with at this level, isn't it? It becomes more like high-speed chess than wheel-to-wheel racing. But yeah, that second stint, was that tyres then? Because you didn't seem quite as strong that second half of the race, and Grantus was just able to eke it out a little bit.
Yeah, again, it was like very similar as in the first one. Like in the first, 6-7 minutes, my pace was really, really good. I got the fastest lap. I caught up like half a second on Grantas, but then then he was half a tenth faster. The next lap, I was faster. Then he was a tenth faster, and then he was just pulling away like half a tenth every single lap until the end. So I was basically just pushing the car, trying to find anything, but yeah, it wasn't enough for him today.
It was so close, and it might have been a slightly different story if you'd found that 100th in qualifying. It's an incredibly close battle. Reflecting on the season then, obviously 3 podiums, I think P4 in the championship. You looked a lot more at home in that Honda than the Ferrari last year.
Mm-hmm.
How have you found it this season?
Yeah, I did really like this season because I wanted to take the Honda, because I did like LFM last season with Honda, which wasn't very good for me. I had some bad races, so I wanted to give the Honda like a proper chance before the new cars come or something, and the Honda will probably go to bin again. So I wanted to give it like a proper giveaway and or proper like
just have a minute for us Bentley drivers.
Yeah. So this season I was very happy with my pace. Like I was one of the fastest Honda drivers since the first race, and I was very, very happy with my pace overall. Some results could have been a little better. I was really sad that I missed the Mount Panorama, because that was obviously the strongest race for Hondas. So I could have got some nice points there. But yeah, I'm very happy with the P4. Like if I look at who is on the top 3, I'm very, very happy in my position.
Well, that's it, isn't it? You add that one race and those points back, and it's all of a sudden that little bit closer. So
yeah,
really improved performance. Well done on another podium, and hopefully we'll see you back for. Are we doing season 13, Rage, or are we skipping it for luck?
No, I think, as far as I'm aware, we're not doing the old, we can't do season 13, meme. As far as I'm aware, it still will be named 13. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe someone will skip it. George, just before we go, mate, I just wanted to say thanks for joining in. And obviously, it's a community-led league. I really love it that, YouTubers and, personalities like yourself. I know Darren King also loves being in this space too. And it's people like you and others, obviously all the esports boys that take part, that keep the focus on smaller little community-led leagues like this. So I appreciate you taking the time to do it, because I know there's other things that pull you away to other, fancy places. So thanks very much.
But thank you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for just making it for us. You know, like the season is amazing and the racing is awesome and organizing and everything is great. So like I think big thanks goes to you guys. So thank you for
well,
that.
the coordinators, the guys behind the scenes, obviously the invisible people that get it all going. I think that's where all the main thanks go. Me and Jamie just shout about it.
Yeah, especially
normally very
also with the
badly.
DDoSing and everything. Like you guys were
yeah.
doing fantastic job. So big thanks to everyone being involved and making us be able to let us race basically. You know?
Yeah. Well, thanks again, buddy. Good to see you back inside the top 3. And I'm
Hey,
sure
thank
we'll
you.
see you soon in another
Hey,
season.
see you next season. I hope it's gonna be soon, by the way.
Fingers crossed. I've no idea when it's going to be. I've got no idea. I know obviously we've got Endurance that I just shouted about that's going to come up quite soon. When they pull the trigger on 13, I don't know. Normally there's a month or 2. There's a break, isn't there? So I'm sure we'll see you in the springtime for some more wheel-to-wheel action in AOR. Hopefully.
Oh, let's go. Thank you guys.
Thanks, buddy. Speak soon.
Cheers, man.
See you.
Well, there we go, Jay. That's another season wrapped up. That's season 12 done in a blink of an eye. I mean, first of all, let me thank you for your patience. It's been tough and fun and good, you know, from the get-go. Always has been. Thanks to all the people watching. I know you've kept us going. Thanks to the sponsors, SIMSOK, Driver61, that also keep the season going, and we've already sang their praises. But thanks for all the coordinators for keeping everything going on, especially after such a contentious subject that's been going on behind the scenes in esports that's somewhat petered off, thankfully, towards the end of this season, which is good.
Which one of you talking
the
about?
DDoS stuff.
One
The
of them-
DDoS stuff. We're not talking about the new one. We're not getting into that. No. We're not getting into that. We're not even going to bring up the motion of that. I think everyone who knows anything about esports exactly knows what's going on in that area, and I'm not even going to entertain it because I'm pretty sure a community-led thing like this doesn't even have to worry about something as so silly and juvenile as that. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. DDoS and all of that business.
Yes, yeah, they've done a great job keeping it going, as you say, the patience of everybody whilst they worked through those problems. And yeah, thank you for having me again.
No problem. Welcome back anytime, Jay. Guys, just before we finish, join us tomorrow for the Tier 2 race round exactly the same place, and there is an almighty fight going on. I won't go through it again because I know I bored you with it earlier, but if you want to do that, it'll be same time, same place, 7:30 tomorrow, and it is anyone's inside the top 5 for Tier 2 to come away with the championship. So join us for that. Jay, 3 words. They're still there, I think, and we are still here, but not for much longer. We'll see you next season, guys.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.